We are now on the next screen for outlining in the Udemy Course Manager. Let me show you where we're at on the map. You'll see that we had the main screen, the course analysis, and now we're in the outline. And these are the additional steps we'll be going through on different screens. The course outline includes a course outline portal that shows the individual portal records in a larger view like they were on the analysis portal. So you can add and edit data. I want to cover something on the course outline. Originally in the ISD model, it did not exist. Basically, people took a typewritten or a word processor version of the analysis, the elements of the analysis. They basically printed them out, they took a pair of scissors and they cut them out, and then they placed them on a piece of paper and either taped them or glued them down to another 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Sounds pretty rudimentary, but as that day had, the technology was not evolved in order to do things like we do in this application. So I've added this element actually into the Course Manager so that you have the ability to reorganize the information from the analysis in the actual sequence that you want to present the information. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be covering how that is done on this screen. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Now, we already covered the application map and the do action button and the information that's at the top of the screen. We also have the speak description that's for Macs, where we can actually click in a field and then click this and it'll actually read the information back to you in a computer voice. We also have a color coding system. Now the color coding system is, as you can see right here, you see this is color coded. Now there was a regime that I created when I was in corporate before I retired that was all about how to manage data. And the data needed to be managed where I had a team of people that were reviewing all the stuff that was going on as far as the design was concerned. We used a color coding system to highlight all the elements of the product that we were building. And what it would do, different colors meant different things. I've given you the ability to go ahead and colorize these different screen areas in each one of these related blocks here. And what happens by colorizing, I mean, you can use your own regime, as I said. I'll tell you what we used to do. Black was a final photo-ready draft as far as this particular piece of information was concerned. Red was a primary read when you changed the color when it was red. When it was red, this had to be red, obviously a pun sort of, but what happened, we would read it and go through it with our tech writers, or in this case, if you're the instructor, you can color it red so you can differentiate each one of these blocks that are ready, that have been read or not read. Once the item is read and it's all been passed on through the rereading portion, you turn it green. But you have the option, if there are issues within it, to go ahead and use your formatting tool to format a line where maybe the information is not complete or there's something that is wrong with it technically and you want to go ahead and either adjust it or change it. So you can color the individual sentences or a paragraph if you want for a rewrite. In the same way, you can go ahead once it's done and turn it all blue for the last rewrite so that you can make sure that it's ready. This would be the draft version. Once the draft version is gone to final and you want to test it with users or other people and have them review it, you would turn it to Gold Master, or orange is the color it's called, but it's a Gold Master. So as you go through, you can actually edit and manage each piece of information and you can see what has to be completed as far as the sequencing. Now you can use the regime I'm using, or you can use your own and colorize them the way you want to, or highlight the text within the area to do the same thing. Now this is also available in the portal where you can actually change the color where you're viewing these in a larger format. You can also add a relevant image. For example, in this case, I'm looking at the ISD design, analysis, design, evaluation, implementation, and development. Now these are the 5 steps of ISD, and they're explained within the narrative that I have in this field. So it's appropriate to have something in the design that shows a picture or some illustration that is pertinent to what you're actually writing. And this is stuff that you may want to use in your actual presentation, or something that is a slide or something like that that supports the information to which you're writing. There is an image button by each individual block in the portal, and the portal actually slides, so you can have as many records as you need to have in it, 1 to 1,000 or more if you wanted them. But it is the steps within the actual tentative design before you go into the actual design. And the way it works is you can go ahead, when this is first brought up on the screen, it is blank. You create a new course, you come in, you do your analysis, and you come into the outline view, and now you're looking at this as blank fields in the portal. Well, that's not so much blank, because what you can do is you can go back to your analysis over here, and you can see all the color codes and everything that you were using, and this is actually the analysis information. So with this popover, you can pop it up, you can look at it, you can color code it, you can set different things to it. You can actually even go into the portal and look at the portal on the other screen that pertains to that particular element in the analysis. So you can see it in a larger view. I've colored them in each one of the different colors so you get an idea of what it looks like if you're using it in that mode. Now, if you want to bring over this information that is in a lesson as far as the analysis is concerned, and you think it may be a lesson item that you want to put into the screen, you can highlight this screen here and click copy. And what it'll do is it'll copy that piece of information. Now, the analysis topic information that's supporting this but not part of the lesson would not be highlighted or moved. So once you copy this, you can go ahead and click anywhere and back on the button or whatever. Then you can go into the record itself, and then when you go in here you can say paste. You can do Control V, which will paste it in there, and it'll actually be a part of this analysis. Now, if you do that prior to that, before you actually paste it in, you may want to go through and look at all the elements that you've created in the analysis. These are each one of the individual bodies of knowledge that are created in the complete analysis. Now, this is probably not nearly complete as a real analysis would be, but it's enough that you can see how it works. Now, if you're working with, say, a course that's going to end up with, I don't know, 72 lectures or something like that, you can have them all in here or more in the analysis. And the reason I say that is some of these things actually break out to be maybe more than one lesson, or maybe they're not going to be used at all. You may want to just skip over them and say, it's not something that's going to be taught in this course, and you can skip away and go over it. Now, once you pick something that you want, you just slide down and you click on that particular item. In this case, I'll re-click on the course manager, and I more or less put them all in the order they were originally in. Now, let's say, for example, I brought course manager over as a product of the analysis, and I want to leave the text that was in the analysis and then go below that in the portal record. Now, let's go to the portal and go to the course analysis and then go below it, and then go ahead and start taking the information that's in the analysis and then treating it differently by taking it apart and figuring how I would organize the information a little bit better as far as what it would look like if I were starting to write the design for the course. But I want to create at least the elements of the way it should look when it's finalized. You have the option, once you do that, to go ahead and remove this or leave it in there as a record of what you are actually changing. This is your option as the instructor developer. Now, you'll notice what I did is I called it 1.0 student selection, and this was actually course manager. Well, this is defined under the analysis that the first thing on the outline is I changed it to what I really want it to be. And in this particular case, I want it to be student selection. And this speaks to what the student needs to understand and know in order to take this course. And in this particular case, because it's about ISD and that's what I'm writing about, I'm using that as far as the outline is concerned. You can see that I created 1.0 outline and added my own data, and this was in the analysis up here at the top. So on the outline, now I have a body of information that is based on the analysis that will be further designed in the design element when we get to that point. Okay, let's go back over to the course outline section, And you notice when I come back over, if I click off and click on this, that it now picks up the highlight color of that particular screen. It's better read or easier to read when you click on it and it's in black than when it's the gold color. So once you click on it and you're reading it, will change back to an editable color that you can read. Now what I did over here is I typed in the actual 1.0 student selection, and you'll see where this is used later, where it actually is passed on through the outline portion, and now up here this portion that was the drop down for the analysis is not the lead information. Now this is. Now one of the important things to recognize is you have this ability to do this. If you're looking at student selection and you decide no, that needs to actually be 1.1, all you have to do is change this portion, make this one 1.0 and this one 1.1, and they'll switch places. This one will now become the lesson up top, and this one will be down below. And then you'll have to go back in and say, for example, maybe I want Udemy instructors to be first. So this one would be 1.0, and this one would be changed to 1.1 to put the students after the instructors. And this is true all the way through the application. This is similar to what we were talking about, where you did the cut and paste, where you take and print something and then go ahead and reorganize it in the order you want it to be in. Well, you can do that throughout the entire instruction. Keep in mind, as we're doing this, and you're going down through the actual instruction, that there are breakpoints like I talked about before, where the analysis was actually broken through to another section. And this is similar to the sections in the Udemy course design. Isn't that a coincidence? So what happens, this would be a new section where you're breaking new analysis information out and covering a totally new approach as far as breaking to the next lesson. In this case, now I'm using the course manager, and you saw that I did that more or less using the course manager on the last screen in the analysis, and I'm just following along with this, the same way that I did, and I kept them in the same order. But obviously I have the ability to say, well, I don't want it in that order, and I can reverse it or change it, or even move things up or down the hierarchy as far as by changing their numeric code number. And that's what this topic number is all about at the top. And of course, like I said before, you can go ahead and go in and colorize these and edit them. Let's go back over to the portal again. I'm just going to pick any one of these, to the portal. And when you come in here, you can do things like bulletizing these. For example, on the Macintosh, if you do an option asterisk, it'll make these all bullets, and you can make them bullet characters. Or you can do whatever kind of a format that you want as far as the outline is concerned. This will assist you in seeing the key points when you actually go do the design portion of this application. Now before, just like the last time, if you want to see how this reads, you can go ahead and click this for the Mac, and it'll actually read this for you. Now there is still the ability, so you know, if you're using the colorization, that you can colorize a piece of this and keep it constant. What that means is, if you go to the format under the program menus on this application, you can set the colorization on the desktop to be something that is staying colored. For example, if I get out of here, it's red. If I come back, it's red. What I did is I used the format to actually say that this is going to stay in red and be highlighted. So you have a lot of flexibility as far as how you're doing things in the actual editing of the outline. Now on the outline as well, you can read it in the next screen. We're going to go about how you do that as far as getting ready to do your design. If you have any questions about how this application is flowing and how the outline is used, you can contact me at the www.ontargetsolutions.biz. Let's move on to the next screen and the next application presentation. Thank you.